The warning ignored. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the Galactic Council convened for an emergency session. The Grand Chamber, a marvel of alien architecture, buzzed with tension as representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered. At the center of the room, a holographic display flickered to life, showing a small blue planet, Earth. Councillor Zextrax, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline form, addressed the assembly. Esteemed colleagues, we face a grave situation. The Drakari Empire has set its sights on Earth, a world we have long observed but never contacted. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Earth was known to the Council, but as a primitive world, barely into its space age. The Drakari, on the other hand, were a fearsome race of conquerors, having subjugated dozens of systems in their relentless expansion. "We must intervene," declared Councillor Nyx, her tentacles waving in agitation. "The humans are not ready for this level of conflict. They will be annihilated." Zextrax's crystalline form pulsed with agreement. "Indeed, but there is more. Our observations of Earth have revealed unexpected developments. Humans possess a unique adaptability and resourcefulness that defies our understanding. Their potential, if realized, could dramatically alter the balance of power in our galaxy." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some argued for immediate intervention to protect Earth, while others insisted on maintaining the policy of non-interference with developing worlds. As the arguments raged, a new hologram appeared, a massive fleet of Drakari warships, already en route to Earth. The sight silenced the chamber. "We have no choice," Zextrax declared. "We must warn the Drakari. For their own sake, they must be dissuaded from this course of action." Days later, in the imposing throne room of the Drakari flagship, Emperor Vorax received the Galactic Council's delegation. His scaled skin glistened in the dim light, eyes gleaming with barely contained contempt. Councillor Zextrax stepped forward, his crystalline form casting prismatic light across the chamber. "Emperor Vorax, we come with a warning. The world you seek to conquer, Earth, is not what it seems. We strongly advise you to reconsider your invasion." Vorax's laughter echoed through the chamber, a sound like grinding metal. "You jest, Counselor. Our scans show a primitive species, barely able to leave their own atmosphere. What possible threat could they pose to the might of the Drakari Empire?" "It is not their technology we speak of, Emperor," Zextrax persisted. "It is their nature. Humans possess an uncanny ability to adapt, to overcome obstacles that would crush other species. They are unpredictable, innovative in ways that defy conventional strategy." Vorax leaned forward on his throne, interest piqued, despite his skepticism. "Explain." Zextrax projected a series of images, humans surviving in the harshest environments, overcoming devastating natural disasters, and making technological leaps that seemed impossible given their resources. In the span of a single century, they went from primitive flight to landing on their moon. Their fiction imagines technologies far beyond their current capabilities, yet they strive to make these dreams reality. They possess a drive, a determination that we have rarely encountered. Vorax's eyes narrowed. "You speak of potential, Counselor. Potential means nothing in the face of our advanced weaponry and battle-hardened warriors. We implore you to reconsider, Emperor." Zextrax made a final plea. "Engaging the humans may lead to consequences none of us can foresee." But Vorax had heard enough. He rose from his throne, towering over the delegation. "Your concern is noted, Counselor. But the Drakari Empire fears no primitive species, no matter how adaptable. We will conquer Earth, as we have conquered countless worlds before it. Your warning is appreciated, but unnecessary." With a wave of his clawed hand, Vorax dismissed the delegation. As they were escorted from the throne room, Zextrax turned to his fellow counselors. "I fear we have failed. The humans now stand alone against the coming storm." Back on the Galactic Council's homeworld, the delegation reported their failure. The council chamber was somber as they debated their next move. "We could intervene directly," suggested Councillor Nyx. Our combined fleets could repel the Dracari. Zexthrax's crystalline form dimmed, and risk all-out war. The Dracari would see it as an act of aggression. No, we must adhere to our principles of non-interference with developing worlds. Then we doom the humans to extinction, another counselor declared grimly. But Zexthrax wasn't so sure. Perhaps we underestimate them. As Vorax does, we have warned them. Now we must watch and hope that the potential we've seen in humanity is realized. As the Council debated, the Dracari fleet continued its inexorable journey towards Earth. Emperor Vorax stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the stars streak by. The warning of the Galactic Council echoed in his mind, but he dismissed it with a growl. "Prepare the invasion force," he commanded his officers. "We will show these humans, and the Galactic Council, the true might of the Dracari Empire." Little did Vorax know, his decision to ignore the Council's warning would set in motion a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of galactic civilization. As Earth grew larger in the view screens of the Dracari fleet, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the approaching threat. But soon, they would be forced to prove their worth not just to the Dracari, but to the entire galaxy. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of Earth and potentially reshape the balance of power in the cosmos. The Dracari, confident in their superior technology and military might, believed they were descending upon an easy conquest. But as the Galactic Council watched with bated breath, the true test of humanity's potential was about to begin. First contact and initial conflict. The skies over Earth's major cities darkened as the Dracari fleet entered the atmosphere. Massive ships, dwarfing anything humanity had ever constructed, cast ominous shadows over stunned populations. Panic spread like wildfire as the reality of alien invasion, long confined to the realm of science fiction, became horrifyingly real. In the United Nations emergency session, world leaders struggled to formulate a response. General Laura Chen, head of Earth's hastily assembled Unified Defense Force, addressed the assembly. "Ladies and gentlemen, we face an unprecedented threat. Our orbital defenses have been neutralized, and our air forces are vastly outmatched. But we are not without hope. Humanity has faced extinction-level events before, and we have always found a way to survive. Today, we must do so again." As Chen spoke, the first wave of Dracari dropships descended on major military installations worldwide. Emperor Vorax, watching from his command ship, allowed himself a satisfied smile. "See how they scurry," he growled to his lieutenants, "like vermin before the exterminator." But as the Dracari ground forces engaged with Earth's military, the invaders encountered their first surprise. Instead of the disorganized resistance they expected, they found themselves facing a coordinated, albeit technologically inferior defense. In the skies over North America, Squadron Leader Raj Patel led a seemingly suicidal charge against a Dracari battlecruiser. "Remember the plan," he said to his pilots. "We're not trying to destroy it. Just get their attention." The squadron of fighter jets darted around the massive alien ship, their missiles barely scratching its advanced shields. But as the Dracari turned their attention to swatting these irritating gnats, they failed to notice the real threat. Miles below, in a hidden bunker, Dr. Yuki Tanaka initiated the activation sequence of Project Dreamcatcher, a massive electromagnetic pulse, powered by experimental technology, surged upward. The Dracari battlecruiser, its shields optimized for deflecting energy weapons, was caught completely off guard. Systems flickered and died as the EMP washed over the ship. "It worked," Dr. Tanaka exclaimed, watching the massive ship list in the sky. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. In the African savanna, Dracari ground forces found their advanced weaponry failing as they entered carefully disguised electromagnetic fields. In the Amazon, their dropships were ensnared by camouflaged nets, launched from the canopy by repurposed logging equipment. Back on his command ship, Emperor Vorax received the reports with growing fury. "How is this possible?" he raged. They are primitives. Their technology is centuries behind ours. His chief scientist, Zorlak, ventured an explanation. It appears, my emperor, that they are not engaging us with advanced technology, but rather with innovative applications of their existing capabilities. They are adapting our weaknesses in ways we didn't anticipate. Vorax's eyes narrowed. The Galactic Council's warning, he muttered. Perhaps there was more truth to it than we realized. Despite these initial setbacks, the Drakari pressed their attack. Their overwhelming numbers and superior technology began to tell, and human defenses were pushed back on multiple fronts. In New York, the Statue of Liberty crumbled under alien bombardment. In Beijing, the Great Wall became a last line of defense against Drakari ground forces. Yet for every city that fell, for every battle lost, humanity's resolve only strengthened. In orbit, the International Space Station, previously thought lost, suddenly came back online. Commander Elena Rodriguez, presumed dead in the initial attack, broadcast a message to the world. We've managed to salvage alien communication technology. Her voice crackled through millions of devices worldwide. We're intercepting their transmissions, learning their tactics. Hold the line, Earth. We haven't lost yet. The broadcast was abruptly cut off, but its impact was immediate. A surge of hope swept through the beleaguered defenders of Earth. In hidden labs and makeshift workshops around the world, scientists and engineers worked feverishly to understand and repurpose salvaged alien technology. In Antarctica, a team led by Dr. Kwame Osei made a breakthrough. We've deciphered part of their shield frequency, he announced to General Chen via a secure link. It's not much, but it might give our weapons a fighting chance. Chen nodded grimly. It's more than we had an hour ago. Transmit the data to all remaining military installations. We're going to make these bastards regret ever hearing of Earth. As the modified human weapons began to penetrate Drakari defenses, albeit sporadically, Emperor Vorax found himself facing a situation he had never encountered in his long history of conquest. My Emperor, his chief strategist approached cautiously. Our forces are reporting increased resistance. The humans are learning, adapting. Our casualties are mounting. Vorax's face contorted with rage. Impossible. They are vermin, nothing more. Increase our attack. Level their cities. Show them the true might of the Drakari Empire. But as the orders went out, a new complication arose. The Drakari fleet's long-range sensors detected movement from the outer reaches of the solar system. A massive object, hidden in the Kuiper Belt, was stirring to life. On Earth, in a top-secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Chen received an encrypted message. Her eyes widened as she read it, a mix of shock and hope crossing her face. Send word to all commands, she ordered her staff. Operation Lazarus is go. I repeat, Operation Lazarus is go. As the orders spread, a sense of anticipation mixed with the desperation of Earth's defenders. Something was coming, something that might turn the tide of this seemingly hopeless war. In his command ship, Emperor Vorax watched with growing unease as the unknown object approached. It was massive, easily dwarfing even the largest Drakari vessels. As it drew closer, its true nature became apparent. A gargantuan space station, bristling with weapons of unmistakably human design, but on a scale that should have been impossible for Earth's level of technology. What is that? Vorax demanded, his voice a mix of anger and fear. On Earth, General Chen allowed herself a small smile. That alien scum is humanity's insurance policy. Welcome to Earth, you overconfident lizards. The real fight starts now. As the massive human space station engaged the Drakari fleet, the tide of battle began to shift. Humanity, it seemed, had a few more surprises up its sleeve. The warning of the Galactic Council echoed once more in Vorax's mind, and for the first time since the invasion began, the Emperor of the Drakari felt a twinge of doubt. The battle for Earth was far from over, but humanity had served notice to the galaxy. They would not go quietly into the night. They would fight. They would adapt, and they would survive. The Drukhari, and indeed the watching galaxy, were about to learn why the Galactic Council had been so concerned about humanity's potential. Human ingenuity unleashed. As the massive human space station, codenamed Lazarus, engaged the Drukhari fleet, the tide of the battle began to shift dramatically. The station, a secret project years in the making, represented the pinnacle of human technological achievement and ingenuity. Dr. Samantha Reeves, the lead scientist behind Project Lazarus, stood at the command center of the station, her eyes gleaming with a mix of pride and determination. "Initiate the Nexus Protocol," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos of battle around them. The Nexus Protocol was humanity's trump card, a complex AI system that could analyze and adapt to Drukhari tactics in real time. As it came online, the station's defenses began to anticipate and counter Drukhari attacks with uncanny precision. Emperor Vorax watched in disbelief as his ship's carefully coordinated assaults were thwarted time and again. "How?" he roared, slamming his fist on the arm of his command chair. "How can they possibly have this level of technology?" On Earth, the appearance of Lazarus galvanized the human resistance. General Chen used the momentary confusion among the Drukhari forces to launch a series of daring counterattacks. In the ruins of London, Major Jack Harper led a small team armed with hastily reverse-engineered Drukhari weapons. They moved through the city's underground tunnels, emerging behind enemy lines to wreak havoc on Drukhari supply depots. "Remember," Harper told his team, "we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every species these bastards have ever conquered, or will conquer if we fail." Across the globe, similar scenes played out. Humanity, pushed to the brink of extinction, was pushing back with a ferocity that shocked even the battle-hardened Drukhari. In the skies over Asia, a squadron of fighters led by Captain Madeline executed a maneuver that would have been suicide just days ago. Their planes, retrofitted with salvaged Drukhari technology, darted between the massive alien ships, exploiting weak points that the Nexus Protocol had identified. "This is for Shanghai," Madeline whispered as she released a volley of missiles. The Drukhari cruiser, its shields weakened by the precisely targeted attack, erupted in a ball of fire. But it wasn't just military innovation that was turning the tide. Across the planet, civilians were contributing to the war effort in ways that continually surprised the invaders. In Brazil, a team of ecologists led by Dr. Paulo Silva had made a startling discovery. The Drukhari communication signals, he explained to a group of military officials, they're disrupted by certain frequencies emitted by Amazonian tree frogs during mating season. Within hours, sound systems across the battlefields were blasting recordings of frog calls, throwing Drukhari communications into disarray. In India, a group of Bollywood special effects artists had developed holographic projectors that could create convincing illusions of entire armored divisions. Drukhari forces found themselves repeatedly distracted by phantom tanks and troops, leaving them vulnerable to ambushes by much smaller human forces. As reports of human successes flooded in, Emperor Vorax felt his grip on victory slipping away. "This is impossible," he muttered, watching another of his ships fall to the human counterattack. "They were nothing. Primitives. How can they be defeating us?" His chief scientist, Zorlak, approached cautiously. "My Emperor, I believe I understand now what the Galactic Council was warning us about. The humans, their strength isn't in their technology, but in their adaptability. They're not just using their own innovations, they're learning from ours, improving on them. In all my years, I've never seen a species capable of such rapid technological assimilation." Vorax's eyes narrowed. "Are you saying we've given them the tools to defeat us?" Zorlak nodded grimly. "I fear it may be worse than that, my Emperor. If they can do this in mere days of conflict, imagine what they might achieve if given years, or centuries." The implications hung heavy in the air. The Drukhari hadn't just stumbled into a difficult conquest. They had potentially awakened a sleeping giant. Back on Lazarus, Dr. Reeves was coordinating with ground teams to expand the Nexus protocol's effectiveness. If we can uplink the AI to the planetary defense grid, she explained to General Chen, we can create a unified defense system that can anticipate and counter any Drakari strategy. Chen nodded, a grim smile on her face. Do it. It's time we show these aliens why they should have listened to the Galactic Council. As the battle raged on, news of humanity's resurgence spread across the galaxy. The Galactic Council, which had been watching the conflict with growing concern, found itself faced with a new dilemma. We must intervene, Counselor Nix insisted. If the humans defeat the Drakari on their own, the balance of power in the galaxy will shift dramatically. Counselor Zexthrax's crystalline form pulsed with disagreement, and if we intervene now, we risk turning humanity against the entire galactic community. No, we must let this play out. The humans have proven themselves more capable than even we anticipated. As the council debated, humanity continued to push back against the Drakari invasion. The alien forces, once seemingly invincible, found themselves increasingly on the defensive. Ships that had come to conquer now frantically sought escape routes. Emperor Vorax, watching his grand invasion crumble, faced a decision that would shape the future of both his empire and the galaxy at large. The humans had proven to be far more than the primitive species he had dismissed them as. They were innovative, adaptable, and possessed a tenacity that bordered on the supernatural. As he pondered his next move, Vorax couldn't help but wonder. Had he just unleashed a force that would reshape the very fabric of galactic civilization? And if so, what would this mean for the future of the Drakari Empire? And indeed, for all spacefaring races, the battle for Earth was approaching its climax, but it was becoming increasingly clear that the true impact of this conflict would extend far beyond the borders of this one, supposedly insignificant blue planet. The tables turn. The once mighty Drakari invasion force was in disarray. Ships that had arrived in Earth's orbit with overwhelming confidence now fought desperately for survival. The combined efforts of the Lazarus Station, the rapidly adapting human military, and countless acts of ingenious resistance from civilians had completely upended the balance of power. Emperor Vorax stood on the bridge of his flagship, his scaled hands clenched into fists as he watched another of his cruisers fall to a coordinated human attack. How? He growled, more to himself than to his increasingly nervous crew. How have these primitives done this? His chief strategist, Karthak, approached cautiously. My emperor, we must consider withdrawal. Our losses are mounting, and the humans show no signs of relenting. Vorax whirled on him, eyes blazing. Withdraw. The Drakari Empire does not withdraw. We conquer or we die. But even as the words left his mouth, Vorax knew the bitter truth. This was a battle they could not win, not without sacrificing his entire invasion force. And if they did that, the Empire would be left vulnerable to its many enemies back home. On Earth, the mood was cautiously optimistic. General Chen stood in the war room, surrounded by holograms showing the ongoing space battle. Status report, she barked. A young lieutenant stepped forward. Ma'am, the Lazarus Station has disabled another 3 Drakari capital ships. Our ground forces have retaken New York and are pushing the aliens back in Beijing. Dr. Reeves reports that the Nexus protocol is now operating at 95% efficiency. Chen allowed herself a small smile. And our losses. The lieutenant's face fell slightly. Still significant, ma'am. But we're inflicting far more damage than we're taking now. The Drakari seem disorganized. In orbit, aboard the Lazarus Station, Dr. Samantha Reeves was working feverishly to push the Nexus protocol even further. If we can just boost the predictive algorithms a little more, she muttered, her fingers flying over holographic keyboards, we might be able to anticipate their retreat vectors. Suddenly, alarms blared across the station. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. A technician shouted, "New Drakari ships incoming." Reeves felt her heart sink. Had all their efforts been for nothing? Were the Drakari about to overwhelm them with reinforcements? But as the new ships emerged from hyperspace, something unexpected happened. Instead of joining the attack on Earth, they opened fire on the Drakari invasion fleet. What the hell? Reeves breathed, watching the battle unfold on her screens. On his flagship, Vorax roared in fury. Traitors! Cowards! Who dares to attack their emperor? A communication channel opened, and a familiar face appeared on the view screen. It was Zorlak, Vorax's chief scientist, now wearing the insignia of an admiral. "My apologies, former emperor," Zorlak said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "But the Drakari Empire cannot afford to be led by one so short-sighted. Your obsession with conquering this world has cost us dearly. The Council of Elders has decreed that you are unfit to rule." Vorax's rage was palpable. "You dare? I am the Emperor. I am the Drakari Empire." Zorlak shook his head. "No, Vorax. You were the Empire. Now you're just another casualty of your own hubris. All ships, focus fire on the former Emperor's vessel. Let's end this farce." As the Drakari fleet turned on itself, the humans watched in stunned silence. General Chen was the first to recover. "Don't let up," she ordered. "While they're fighting each other, we press our advantage. Coordinate with the Lazarus station and target any ships still attacking Earth." The battle that followed was chaotic but decisive. Caught between the human defenders and their own rebellious forces, Vorax's loyalists were quickly overwhelmed. The Emperor's flagship, pounded by fire from all sides, erupted in a spectacular explosion that lit up Earth's sky like a second sun. Hours later, as the last pockets of resistance were mopped up, a new transmission came through to the Lazarus station. It was Zorlak again, this time addressing Dr. Reeves directly. "Greetings, humans of Earth," he began, his tone formal but respectful. "On behalf of the new leadership of the Drakari Empire, I extend our deepest apologies for the unwarranted aggression you have suffered. We seek an immediate ceasefire and the opportunity to negotiate terms for our withdrawal." Reeves glanced at General Chen, who had joined her on the station. Chen nodded grimly. "Tell them we accept the ceasefire," she said. "But make it clear that any further aggression will be met with the full force of Earth's defenses." As the message was relayed, Chen turned to Reeves. "I never thought I'd say this, but thank God for alien political infighting." Reeves managed a tired laugh. "I don't think it was just that, General. Did you hear what Zorlak said to Vorax? About the cost of underestimating us? I think we've made quite an impression on the galaxy." Indeed, as news of the battle's outcome spread across the stars, the reaction was one of shock and awe. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session to discuss the implications of humanity's victory. Councillor Zexthrax addressed the assembly, his crystalline form pulsing with excitement. "Esteemed colleagues, we stand at a turning point in galactic history. The humans have not only repelled one of the most powerful military forces in the known universe, but they have done so by adapting and improving upon advanced technologies in a matter of days. The potential implications are staggering." Councillor Nix nodded in agreement. "We must reconsider our stance on Earth immediately. They can no longer be classified as a developing world. Like it or not, humanity has announced its presence on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible." As the Council debated, back on Earth, the process of rebuilding had already begun. But amid the rubble of war, there was a new sense of purpose, a feeling that humanity had not just defended their world, but had opened the door to a vast and complex universe. In the war room, General Chen looked out at the stars, visible through a hole blasted in the ceiling during the fighting. "What now?" she mused aloud. Dr. Reeves, standing beside her, followed her gaze. Now we show the galaxy what humanity can really do when we're not fighting for our survival. I have a feeling this is just the beginning." As dawn broke over a battered but unbroken Earth, humanity stood on the threshold of a new era. They had faced extinction and emerged victorious, forever changing their place in the cosmic order. The Galactic Council's warning, once ignored by the Drakari, now echoed across the stars as a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. The battle was over, but humanity's journey to the stars was just beginning. A new galactic order. In the months following the Drakari invasion, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in human history. The remnants of alien technology, combined with the innovative spirit that had saved humanity, accelerated technological progress at an unprecedented rate. Dr. Samantha Reeves stood in the newly constructed United Earth Space Command headquarters, marveling at how quickly it had been built using repurposed Drakari construction techniques. To think, she mused to General Chen, who stood beside her. A year ago, we were celebrating the first manned mission to Mars. Now we're planning interstellar expeditions. Chen nodded, her expression a mix of pride and concern. We've come far, but we have to be careful. The galaxy's a lot bigger and more complex than we ever imagined. Their conversation was interrupted by a young lieutenant. "Excuse me, ma'am," he addressed Chen, "but we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. They're requesting a formal meeting on Earth." Chen and Reeves exchanged glances. This was unprecedented. Since the end of the war, there had been limited communication with the Council, but nothing like this. "Well," Chen said with a wry smile, "I guess we'd better roll out the red carpet." 2 weeks later, a sleek alien ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, landing on a specially constructed pad outside the United Nations headquarters in New York. As the ship's doors opened, a diverse group of alien representatives emerged, led by the crystalline form of Councilors Extrax. World leaders, along with Chen and Reeves, were there to greet them. The UN Secretary-General stepped forward. "On behalf of humanity, welcome to Earth," she said, her voice steady despite the momentous occasion. Zextrax's form shimmered in what seemed to be a gesture of respect. "On behalf of the Galactic Council, we thank you for your hospitality. We come with an offer that will shape the future of this galaxy." The negotiations that followed were intense and complex. The Council, it emerged, was proposing to officially recognize Earth as a major galactic power, offering humanity a seat on the Council itself. "Your species has demonstrated not only the ability to defend itself," Zextrax explained during one session, "but also to rapidly adapt and improve upon advanced technologies. This combination makes you unique among known civilizations, a new galactic order." In the months following the Drakari invasion, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in human history. The remnants of alien technology, combined with the innovative spirit that had saved humanity, accelerated technological progress at an unprecedented rate. Dr. Samantha Reeves stood in the newly constructed United Earth Space Command headquarters, marveling at how quickly it had been built using repurposed Drakari construction techniques. To think, she mused to General Chen, who stood beside her. "A year ago, we were celebrating the first manned mission to Mars. Now we're planning interstellar expeditions." Chen nodded, her expression a mix of pride and concern. "We've come far, but we have to be careful. The galaxy's a lot bigger and more complex than we ever imagined." Their conversation was interrupted by a young lieutenant. "Excuse me, ma'am," he addressed Chen, "but we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. They're requesting a formal meeting on Earth." Chen and Reeves exchanged glances. This was unprecedented. Since the end of the war, there had been limited communication with the Council, but nothing like this. "Well," Chen said with a wry smile, "I guess we'd better roll out the red carpet." 2 weeks later, a sleek alien ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, landing on a specially constructed pad outside the United Nations headquarters in New York. As the ship's doors opened, a diverse group of alien representatives emerged, led by the crystalline form of Councilors Extrax. World leaders, along with Chen and Reeves, were there to greet them. The UN Secretary-General stepped forward. "On behalf of humanity, welcome to Earth," she said, her voice steady despite the momentous occasion. Zextrax's form shimmered in what seemed to be a gesture of respect. On behalf of the Galactic Council, we thank you for your hospitality. We come with an offer that will shape the future of this galaxy. The negotiations that followed were intense and complex. The Council, it emerged, was proposing to officially recognize Earth as a major galactic power, offering humanity a seat on the Council itself. Your species has demonstrated not only the ability to defend itself, Zextrax explained during one session, but also to rapidly adapt and improve upon advanced technologies. This combination makes you unique among known civilizations. But the offer came with caveats. Humanity would be expected to share its innovations, particularly the Nexus Protocol, which had impressed even the most advanced Council races. There were also concerns about humanity's potential for aggression. We've seen what you're capable of when threatened, Councillor Nix pointed out. How can we be sure you won't become the very thing you just defeated? Dr. Reeves, who had been invited to the negotiations due to her expertise with the Nexus Protocol, spoke up. With all due respect, Counselor, humanity has always been capable of both great destruction and great creation. What the invasion taught us is that we're stronger when we work together, not just as a species, but potentially as a galactic community. The negotiations stretched on for days, but finally an agreement was reached. Earth would join the Galactic Council, but with a probationary status. Humanity would share its innovations, but would also receive access to a vast repository of galactic knowledge. A program of cultural exchange would begin, allowing humans to visit other worlds and for alien species to come to Earth. As the Council representatives prepared to leave, Zextrax approached General Chen privately. You should know, the alien said, its crystalline form pulsing softly, that not everyone in the galaxy is pleased with this outcome. The Drakari Empire, while diminished, is not destroyed. And there are other powers who view humanity's rise with suspicion. Chen nodded grimly. We suspected as much. Rest assured, we'll be vigilant. But we're also hopeful. This is an opportunity to build something greater than we ever imagined. In the years that followed, humanity exploded onto the galactic scene. Earth became a hub of innovation, with humans working alongside alien scientists to solve problems that had puzzled the galactic community for centuries. The adaptability and creativity that had saved Earth now pushed the boundaries of science and technology across the stars. Human colonies were established on distant worlds, and Earth's cities became filled with alien tourists and immigrants, creating a vibrant multicultural society that spanned species and star systems. But Chen's words to Zextrax proved prophetic. Not everyone welcomed humanity's rise. The reformed Drakari Empire, now led by Zorlak, maintained an uneasy peace, but border skirmishes were common. Other, older powers in the galaxy watched Earth's progress with growing concern, fearing that this young, aggressive species might upset the delicate balance of power. 5 years after the invasion, Dr. Reeves stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's first deep space diplomatic outpost. She watched as ships from a dozen different species docked, bringing diplomats to yet another round of negotiations aimed at easing tensions in a disputed sector. General Chen, now Admiral Chen of the United Earth Fleet, joined her at the window. Penny for your thoughts, Doctor. Reeves smiled. Just thinking about how far we've come, and how far we still have to go. Do you ever wonder if the Drakari did us a favor by forcing us to rise to the challenge? Chen considered this for a moment. Maybe, but I prefer to think we always had this potential. We just needed the right push to realize it. She paused, looking out at the star-filled vista before them. You know, for all the challenges we face out here, I can't help but feel excited. We're part of something bigger now, something magnificent. Reeves nodded in agreement. The galaxy's a dangerous place, she said, but it's also full of wonders. And humanity, for better or worse, is now at the heart of it all. As they stood there, watching the swirl of activity around the station, Both women felt a sense of pride and purpose. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But one thing was clear. The species that had once been dismissed as primitive had become a force to be reckoned with in the cosmos. The Galactic Council's warning, once ignored by the Drakari, had become a prophecy fulfilled. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, ready to face whatever challenges the vast, unknown universe might bring. As ships from across the galaxy continued to arrive at Harmony Station, it was clear that a new chapter in galactic history had begun, and humanity, with all its flaws and all its potential, would play a central role in shaping the story of the cosmos for generations to come.